Brilliant. It's lovely to see everyone today. So this one was inspired by a podcast. So I go for my little walk every day around Hilliers, and I've started putting my earphones in and listening to a podcast. It's lovely as I go around. And the one I listened to yesterday was one of my favourite podcasts called Happy Place, which is hosted by Fern Cotton. And her latest guest was, well, he's a podcaster in his own right, actually. I listened to his podcast too. It was Dr. Rangan Chatterjee. And he was talking, he's written lots of books, he's a GP. He hosted a TV programme, a good few years ago now, called Doctor in the House. And he's really interesting and interested in kind of holistic medicine, whilst working as a GP and prescribing drugs. He's also become very interested and seen the benefits of diet, sleep, exercise, how all of that can impact on our physical and mental well-being. He's written several books on it. Just let this person in. It's Linda. Come on in, Linda. We just started. And one of the things that he was talking about on this podcast that I listened to on Monday, he talked about 3 things that he recommends clients or patients do in the morning to start the day off in the right way. And it kind of links into what I was talking about last week when I was saying about our first hour in the morning is the rudder for our day. So he said during the morning, we should try to do the 3 M's: mindfulness, movement, meditation. So the 3 M's: mindfulness, movement, and meditation. He said if we can get those into our morning, Karen, then we are setting ourselves up to have a good day. So I thought, well, we do all of that in our yoga practice, don't we? We set ourselves up perfectly. But we're really going to try and integrate those 3 M's within our practice today. So we're going to start off with a little bit of mindfulness meditation, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to come to a comfortable seated position. I'm just going to pop myself up on a cushion there. You can lean yourself up against a wall, pop a blanket underneath your hips so you can just elevate your pelvis up and allow your knees to soften down. So allow your hands to fall wherever they're comfortable this morning. That might be in your lap, that might be on your knees. And find a little bit of length through the spine. So you might have a little wiggle through the hips there. Lovely. And then closing the eyes if you're comfortable. So there's no sense of forcing the body into an unnatural position there. Yes, we want some length through the spine, but we don't want the kind of chest to be thrust forward and to feel rigidity there. So see if you can find that lovely balance between strength and ease, as they say in yoga. So we feel that there's a lovely strong spine, there's an uplift through the heart, but at the same time there's a softening of the shoulders and a relaxation of the face. You maybe allow your chin just to drop softly down towards your chest. You can close your eyes if you're comfortable, or just allow your gaze to settle on a point just in front of you. And let's take a moment to arrive. So we're not doing anything, we're undoing in lots of ways. Undoing all of the busyness. And there's a lovely quote that says the body benefits from movement, and the mind benefits from stillness. So before we find a movement in our physical practice, let's find a little bit of stillness, a little bit of time for, we want to call it mindfulness, meditation, reflection. Just allowing everything to settle, allowing ourselves to arrive in our space on our mats this morning, leaving everything behind that the week, the morning has brought thus far, the good, the bad, and the generally indifferent. So we can start our practice afresh, being weighed down with anything that might have been bothering us. Just becoming increasingly aware of where you can feel your breath in your body this morning. It might be in your chest or your belly, it might be in your shoulders. And we're going to start with a little breath-based meditation. If it's not for you, you can just simply continue to focus on your breath. But it's one that Dr. Chatterjee himself recommends for his patients. It's a lovely one, not just to bring us into awareness of our breath, but it's a great one if you're feeling a little bit discombobulated, out of sorts or anxious. It's a nice one just to calm mind and breath. So it's called the 3-4-5 breath. So essentially we breathe in for a count of 3, we hold the breath for a count of 4, and then we breathe out for a count of 5. Let's see if we can do it. So I'm not going to count with you, I'll just remind you of that counting pattern. So let's just take a nice smooth inhale through the nose, no counting, just a nice steady breath in, and a nice steady breath out. Then if you're comfortable, we'll start with that little breath sequence. So you breathe in for your count of 3 through the nose. Hold very gently for your count of 4. And then when you're ready, smooth, steady stream of exhale for a count of 5. Softening as you go. And when you're ready, we start again. So we breathe in for a count of 3, really drawing that breath all the way down to those lower lobes of the lungs. Pause at the top. Pausing for a count of 4, and then smooth, steady release for a count of 5. Trying to maintain that length through the spine as you exhale. So just continuing with a few more rounds of that 3, 4, 5 breathing. Really simple one to do. Do it when you're stuck in traffic and you can feel the heat start to rise, the frustration start to build. When you're standing in a queue, so mindfulness isn't something that we need to have special equipment or allocate vast amounts of time to. It can simply be simple exercises we're doing now, just bringing our awareness to our breath. Let's do a couple more rounds, breathing in for 3. Holding for a count of 4. So as you hold, try and soften the shoulders, try not to let tension come in before you release. Steady stream of breath, count of 5. Last round. You've done that final exhale, just allow the breath to settle back into just a steady and easy flow that you can sustain throughout the practice. And just notice maybe just that short practice might have brought a little bit of change to the breath. Lovely. So let's allow the chin just to drop down towards the chest. Hands can stay where they are, or you can change position. And just start a little roll of the chin across your collarbones, bringing the ear to the shoulder, chin to center, and then over to the other side. Trying to, again, to keep that length through the spine, just finding a nice stretch out through the sides of the neck as you just roll from side to side really slowly, maybe syncing that with your breath. And you can stay there, or maybe this morning you want to bring that into a little circle with the nose. So we start to lift the chin and draw nice, easy circles without scrunching the back of the neck. If that isn't for you this morning with your neck, your shoulders, just continue with that little roll of the chin from side to side. If you're doing your nose circles with me, when you're looking up, just gently change direction. So do a few the opposite way around. Oh, that feels nice in my neck and shoulders this morning. One side always feels a little bit different to the other, doesn't it? So when you've got your chin down towards your chest this next time, let's pause there for a moment. Lift your breastbones and meet your chin. Tuck your chin in a little bit towards your chest. And then think about sliding the shoulders back. So we've got a lovely sense of space. Beautiful. And then from there, lift the chin just so the face is gazing forwards, blinking the eyes open. Lovely, welcome to your practice. If you've got your cushion underneath your hips, let's slide it away. Give the legs a little stretch, knees a little bounce. And then we'll cross the legs right in front of left if that's available today. If it's not, you can just come to a comfortable seated position. You might have one heel in front of the other. You might be crossing the middle of your shins. Lovely, hands just resting on the knees, finding that nice length through the spine. Let's settle in and let's start the movement. So right arm lifting up as you inhale, reach really high up towards the ceiling, stretch through the right side of the body. And as you exhale, just allow the hand to drop down to the knee. Lovely, other side, so reaching up. So we're not leaning over to the side, we're trying to just find some length. And then exhale, come all the way down, drop the chin to the chest. And this time the fingertips slide behind your ears. So both hands slide behind the ears, palms together as you reach both arms up towards the ceiling now. Lovely. If it's too much of the palms touching, just separate the hands. Take a nice deep breath in as you reach up. And as you breathe out, we're going to twist to the right. So left hand might come to your knee or your thigh, and the other hand snuggles in behind you. Now, I did a lovely yoga class yesterday, and I heard a really interesting instruction I'm going to pinch. And the quote or the instruction was, as we come into a twist, can you keep your eyes, your nose and your mouth over the center of your chest? So rather than turning the head, can we think about using the rotation of the upper back? So if you can picture your face staying above the center of your chest. Let's take one more inhale there. And as you exhale, let's slowly come all the way back through center, fingertips finding the floor. Right arm lifting up, same arm, right arm lifts up. You're going to bend the elbow and see if you can just slide your fingertips down towards the base of the neck, maybe between the shoulder blades. Open the elbow, take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's take a little side bend. Keep grounded through the sit bones. You can tuck your chin into your armpit. As you inhale, let's release and bring the fingertips all the way down towards the floor. Let's see if we can do that with the breath. So inhale, reaching up, bend the elbow. Exhale, take that little side stretch. So we're getting a nice stretch into the tricep and the side of the body. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, hand finding the floor. Lovely. Inhale. Exhale as you bend the elbow, come into that little side stretch. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, fingertips find the floor. Lovely. Let's do one more. Inhale. Exhale, find that lovely stretch to the side of the body. Really try and point the elbow up towards the ceiling. Come all the way back. Let's take the right arm just out level with the shoulder. And then we'll draw that arm across the chest. Just catching hold with the left arms. You might hold at the wrist. You might want to just cradle your shoulder. See if you can drop that right shoulder down and bring that right arm across the chest there. Lovely. A little bit for the back of the shoulder there. I can stay there gazing forwards, or just take your gaze over your right shoulder. So we're getting stretch in the back of the right shoulder, but also in the side of the left neck there. Lovely. Let's slowly come all the way back to center, bringing the fingertips all the way behind you now, fingertips pointing forwards or out to the side. Press them down, lift and open the chest. We'll squeeze the shoulder blades together as you open up through the front of the body, maybe lifting the chin. Take a nice breath in. And as you breathe out, soften the elbows, lean into your hands, give your knees a little bounce as you stretch the legs out, and then we'll stretch, we'll cross left in front of right now, so other side. One side always feels different to the other. Hands on the knees, sitting up nice and tall, left arm leading this time. Inhale, reaching up, stretching up towards the ceiling, and then as you exhale, let's bring the hand down, let's sync up with the breath now. Right arm lifting, inhale. And exhale, chin to chest, fingertips slide behind the ears as you inhale, both arms reaching up to the palms. Might touch, you might have your hands apart, and as you exhale, let's twist to the left now. Right hand coming across, snuggling the other hand behind you. And again, eyes, nose, and mouth stay above the center of your chest there. So we're not aiming to look over that back shoulder today. We're instead focusing on that lovely ringing out through the middle back. So we can draw that left shoulder back, but the head doesn't follow. Take another nice breath in, drawing some length up through the spine. And as you exhale, let's come all the way back through center, fingertips finding the floor. We'll move slowly for the first one, then sink in with the breath. So left arm lifts. And again, we keep the body upright, so we're not trying to drop the chin. As you bring the hand behind the head and then take that little side stretch. If that's too much, you can always do our kind of usual one. Coming all the way back up and then fingertips find the floor. Lovely. So inhaling, reaching up, bending elbow. Exhaling, coming into that side stretch. So you can tuck your chin into your armpit. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, fingertips finding the floor. A couple more times. So as you exhale, try and keep the chest pointing forwards and that top elbow more or less pointing up towards the ceiling. Let's do that once more. So you're getting a lovely stretch all the way through the side seam of the body there. Beautiful. So we'll bring that left arm just level with the shoulder. We'll bring it across the body now, trying to drop that left shoulder. So right arm just catches hold and brings the arm across the body. So you can always just take hold below the elbow. You can cradle your shoulder wherever feels most comfortable. Soften that left shoulder down. Lovely. You can stay there, or take the gaze over your right shoulder this time. So you're looking to the right, but we've got the left arm drawn in front of you. Oh no, we're taking the gaze the other way. As I did that, I thought, no, that's not right. I'm being navigationally challenged today. So you're looking over your left shoulder, sorry guys. So it's stretching out through the right side of the neck. I thought one side felt super stretched. You see, I am human. Let's come all the way back through center, just in case there was any doubt. Bring the fingertips behind you. A little lift up through the chest, pressing the fingertips down. Slide the shoulders away from the ears. Take a nice breath in, lift the chin. And as you exhale, soften and release. I'm going to bring my hands in front of my feet and roll over my ankles to all fours. But if that's not for you, find your way to all fours. Hands under the shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And we're going to tuck the toes under this morning. So waking up through the feet. Spreading the hands nice and wide. So just make sure that you've got your knees really are underneath your hips there. So you've got a nice long spine. Lovely. Taking the gaze forwards, pressing into your hands. And let's start to move up and down through the spine now. So as you inhale, we'll just lift the chin a little bit, drop the belly, lift the tailbone. Nice arch through the back, and then exhale like an angry cat, taking the chin to the chest and rounding up through the back. And then just roll with your breath now, continuing that movement. And Dr. Chatterjee talked about mindfulness, and yoga is a kind of exercise. The whole movement is an exercise in mindfulness, because we're tuning in with our breath, we're syncing movement with breath. So it's not just a physical exercise. We can make it that if we wish, but we're trying to really integrate mind, body, and breath throughout the practice. So you maybe close your eyes here so you're not distracted by what's going on around you or the screen. Just following your body, following my voice. Let's do one more. Inhale. And exhale, rounding up, angry cat. And then from the angry cat, just allow the body to come back into that tabletop position. So finding that lovely kind of balance between those two extremes. Toes tucked under, gaze stays forwards. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, press into your hands and your toes and just hover your knees off the floor without the hips lifting. Building up a little bit of heat, a little bit of strength. Keep pressing into your hands. Might be a little bit of shaking. That's good. It means we're working. Seeing if we can hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the knees. Keep the toes tucked. Inhale, lift the head, lift the heart. Exhale, round up, angry cat. Press into your hands, keeping shoulders above wrists. A couple more times. Just releasing off that little bit of strength. Lovely. Once more. So sliding the shoulders away from the ears as you bring your chest and your chin forwards. And then pressing into your hands, spreading the shoulder blades left to right as you round on up. Lovely. Coming back to that tabletop, taking the gaze just forwards towards the top of the mat. Pressing into the hands and into the balls of the feet. Take an inhale. Exhale. Just hover the knees. Fire up through the belly so nothing else has changed in terms of the shape. We've just hovered the knees. Seeing again if we can keep the gaze forwards. Hollow out through the belly. See if we can hold for 5, 4, 3, shaking 2, and 1, lower the knees. Flatten the feet, give the feet a little bit of a flat there. And then we're going to widen the knees, point the big toes together, and sinking heels back, hips back towards your heels. We'll take a nice wide kneed child pose. Maybe have a little walk of the hands forwards, a little rock of the hips from side to side as you settle into that shape. A shape where we're trying to create length through the sides of the body. The forehead might touch the floor. It might be hovering from the floor. You might want to support your forehead if that's the case and it's more comfortable, or pop something underneath it. Just direct the breath now into the back of the body for a couple of breaths, thinking about the breath in the lower back, the middle back, and the upper back. And then just allowing the front body just to sink down between the knees as you exhale. Let's do that once more. Lovely. We're going to keep this shape, but we're going to add some movement. So keeping the hands outstretched in front of you, we're going to draw ourselves back up onto all fours. So knees still wide, big toes still touching. Lovely. So this time we'll direct your right hip back towards your right heel. A little bit of stretch to the left side of the body. And then send the hips over to the left. And then come forwards, weight over that left wrist. and then over to the right. So we're starting to draw big circles with the body there. You might want to close the eyes. You might sync it up in some way with your breath, inhaling for half a circle, exhaling for the other half. Don't want to be too prescriptive there, but see if you can find a rhythm that suits you. This time when you're forward, pause, and then come back the opposite way. So start to change the direction of that movement there. There might be a softness in the elbows. You might be closing the eyes. There might be, it's with me, some interesting clicks in the shoulder and the hips going on. Lovely. So the next time that we're forwards in that all fours position, we'll pause, just find that balance. And then hips coming centrally back now. So coming back into that child pose, knees wide, big toes touching. Option to stay there with the arms outstretched, or a little bit for the upper back. You prop yourself up on your elbows so you can bring your palms together. And then like a little shark fin, you bring your thumbs towards the back of your head and press your elbows forwards on the diagonal and down into your mat. So you've got your little shark fin just on the top of your head there. So you might, as you feel that resistance of your elbows pressing forwards on the diagonal and down into the mat, you might feel a little bit of engagement through the upper back. Let's take one more breath, arms outstretched if that's not for you. Lovely. And then releasing the hands down, coming back onto all fours, keeping the knees wide, the big toes touching if that's comfortable. If not, bring them in line with the hips if that's a little bit too much for the hips. Hands under shoulders. Right arm, we're going to reach up towards the ceiling. Keep the chest forwards as you inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to thread the needle and pause for a round of breath. So coming down onto the side of the head there, taking inhale. And as you exhale, can you soften into that shape? And now let's move with the breath, pressing into the left hand. Inhale, right arm lifts up, bring the chest forwards. Exhale as we feed the arm underneath. This time we're going to reach the fingertips all the way through. Lovely, coming all the way up as you inhale. Chest coming forwards, weight coming forwards. And then we'll hold now. So sliding the hand just away from you, easing yourself down onto the side of your head. And again, just shift the weight forward slightly for balance. You can adjust the position of that left hand so you can lean your body weight a little bit more into that right shoulder. Take a couple of breaths here now. Just finding that very gentle, or it might be for you, might be a little bit stronger stretch between the shoulder blades there. Lovely. And then pressing into that left hand. On an inhale, sweep that right arm all the way up. Lovely twist, open the chest. Exhale, bring the right hand down. Let's try the other arm. So left arm lifting on an inhale, turn the chest. Keep the chest forwards, and then as you exhale, we're going to pause and hold for a breath in that thread needle. So coming down onto the side of the head, top of the shoulder. Let's take an inhale there. And an exhale, just finding a bit of softness in that space before we move. Pressing into right hand. Inhale, left arm lifts. Chest comes forwards. Open up through the heart. Exhale, we're going to feed the arm through. Hand hovers this time. Reaching the left arm underneath. Up again. Inhale, reaching up. And this time as you exhale, let's pause and hold. So thread the arm through, finding a little bit of space between your ear and the top of the shoulder. Maybe moving that right hand a little bit further away from your face so you can point the elbow up towards the ceiling. And you might want to just gently shift the weight. So it's not a forcing, you're just kind of gently shifting weight into that left shoulder. Finding a little bit of stretch. Lovely. And then getting ready to move. So coming out, pressing into right hand. Inhale, reaching out all the way up. Exhaling, bringing the hands down, bring the knees back underneath the hips. You can give your wrists a little bit of a shake and turn if they're a little bit tight after that weight bearing. Tucking the toes under. Getting ready for downward dog. If downward dog isn't for you today, feel free to work from all fours. If you're with me, take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's lift the hips up into your downward facing dog. And start with a little bit of movement that works for you, maybe a kind of shake of the head or a wiggle of the hips, a little pedal out through the feet. And just adjust the position if you need to, so you can find a nice long back and stretching out through the sides of the body. Gaze might be directly down to the floor, might be back between your heels or between your knees. Just find a comfortable position for your neck. You're going to rise up onto the balls of the feet, so lifting the heels. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, bend the left knee and press the right heel down towards the floor. Inhale, lifting up onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, changing sides, bending right knee, stretching left heel down. Do one more with each side. So getting almost like you're depressing something underneath that heel, pressing on a pedal, so you're stretching that heel back. Inhale as you lift the heels. This time as you exhale, both heels pressing down. Doesn't matter if they don't touch the earth. Get that sense of sending your hips up nice and high. Clawing through the fingertips so the weight isn't all dumping in the wrist, pressing into your finger pads and your thumb and your first finger. Lovely. And then from there, take the gaze forwards between your hands, and that's where we're going to head. Walking your feet forwards towards your hands, settling your feet behind your wrists in a lovely, generous knee bent forward fold. And you might want to settle in stillness there. You might want to gently rock the weight forwards into the balls of the feet and then back towards your heels. You might want to crane your elbows and have a little sway. Let's see what feels nice there. And if a forward fold is not for you this morning for whatever reason, then just lift your head, lift your heart, bring your hands to support yourself just above your knees there, so your head is higher than your heart if you've got any blood pressure issues or you simply don't like being in a forward fold. If you're in that forward fold, we'll stay there just for one more breath. Lovely. And then if you've got your hands cradling your elbows, let's all release the elbows there. Release the arms in front of you. Fingertips finding the floor in front of you, your shins or your thighs. Let's start coming up into a flat back. So if you've got your fingertips on the floor, you could try coming up onto your fingertips, palms facing inwards, and just pressing the tips of the fingers down. Lovely. So the back is more or less on a diagonal, but still nice and straight. Let's take an inhale wherever you are. And as you exhale, soften and fold. This time, knees bent into chest. Let's roll our way up to stand. Arms dangle, tailbone gently tucked under. Rebuilding the spine, coming up, up, up. Turning the palms forwards. Finding a lovely strong mountain pose there. So just let everything settle just for a minute. So palms are facing forwards. Lovely. And then bringing the hands together at the heart, lifting breastbone to meet your thumbs. Lovely. On an inhale, we're going to arrow the arms all the way up. And as you exhale, big circle all the way back and down and back up to the heart. Twice more. Inhale, reaching up. You might start to lift the chin, open up through the chest. Exhale, big opening through the shoulders. The hands might come a little bit behind the body. Back up to the heart. Last time, inhale. This time as we exhale, we'll keep the hands together at the heart, but interlace the hands and release your index fingers, coming into a little side stretch. I'm going to take the arms all the way up towards the ceiling, upper arms hugging the ears, feet about hip width apart. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's bump the hips to the right as we take the body and the arms over to the left. So sometimes to get more kind of stretch, we kind of collapse into that right side, just take the arms over to the right. But to see if we can increase the stretch, see if you just shift your body weight a little bit further into the left side. So maybe into the left foot, bumping the hip, into the right side, sorry, beg your pardon. Lovely. Navigationally challenged today. Inhale through center. And as you exhale over to the other side, so bump the hips to the left, take the arms all the way over to the right. And again, rather than just pulling the arms over to the right a little bit more, send your weight into that left foot, left side. Just open up some more space. Beautiful. Inhale through center. And this time as you exhale, let's come all the way down into a forward fold. Arms in front or out to the side, whatever works for your shoulders. Inhale as you lift up halfway, back into that flat back. And as you exhale, step back into a downward facing dog. Where we were, hips nice and high. Option to have a rest, or as you inhale, come forwards to plank with me. So gazing forwards, you might need to walk your hands forwards, your feet back, so the body's in that lovely long line. Press into the hands, feel that little dome in between the shoulder blades. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, just drop the knees down. Lovely, flatten the feet. A little bit of strength. Elbows hug the body. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, just come down halfway. Elbows squeezing in without sagging in the middle. Inhale, press into the floor. Straighten the arms. Exhale, gazing forward, so nose just forwards, the fingertips come down. It might be an inch, might be a couple of inches. One more time, inhale, straighten the arms. This time as you exhale, can we come all the way down with control, slowly lowering the chest. Hands might want to come a little bit wider apart now, maybe off your mat. So as you inhale, you can press into your hands and just peel the chest forwards and up, coming into a lovely baby cobra, chin parallel to the floor. And as you exhale, let's lower the body all the way down, moving with the breath twice more. Inhale, so there's that little slide of the shoulder blades down the back. So you might be coming lower than me, might be higher. Lovely. Last one, inhale. So we're not shortening the back of the neck, gazing just forwards or even down to the floor. Exhale. This time as you inhale, hands under the shoulders as you push to all fours. And as you exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog, nice and high. Pause. Lengthen through the sides of the body. Sink the heels heavily down again as though they were pressing a pedal down towards the floor. And then looking forwards between your hands, take an inhale. And as you exhale, step forwards to the top of the mat. Inhale, lift up halfway. And as you exhale, fold all the way down. Staying in that forward fold now. Just toe heel your feet a little wider than hip width apart. Toes and knees pointing forwards. Lovely. Right hand in front of right foot. Bend the right knee and take the left arm all the way up towards the ceiling, bringing the chest forwards. If your fingertips don't find the floor, just bring your hand above that bent right knee and turn the chest. Lovely. And then bringing both fingertips down towards the floor, both hands down. Bending left knee, left hand in front of left foot. Straightening that right leg and take the right arm up towards the ceiling. Lovely. And coming all the way back down. Lovely. One more with the breath. So inhaling, bending right knee, straightening left leg, left arm lifts. Exhale as you come all the way back down. Other side. So remember, you can always keep the hand above the knee if that's too much to keep the hand on the floor. Beautiful. Fingertips finding the floor. Toe heel the feet so they're underneath the hips. Inhale, lift up halfway. And this time as you exhale, plant the hands and we'll step the right leg back, dropping the knee. Hand onto that left knee or thigh, so you're lifting up into a lovely low lunge, chest nice and open. You can tuck the back toes or flatten the foot, whatever works for you. And then reaching the arms up into that lovely low lunge, turning the palms forwards. Beautiful. And then left hand catches right wrist or forearm. Inhale as you reach up. And as you exhale, let's take that little side bend again over to the left. And this time as you reach that right arm over, just make sure you're not squashing the inside of the body at the expense of the outside. So think about lifting up and out of that left hip as well. Let's inhale back through center. And as you exhale, bring the hands all the way back down. Lift up the back knee if you can, stretching the heel away from you. And as you inhale, left arm peels up this time, coming into a lovely twist. Tucking that left hip all the way in and back, take an inhale. And as you exhale, bring the hand all the way back down. Look forwards, push off that back foot. And as you inhale, step the feet together. Exhale as you fold all the way down. Lovely. Bending the knees, bringing the hands down. This time we'll step the left leg back. Lowering the knee, hand onto that right knee or thigh, so you're coming up into that lovely lunge. So just drop your center, so you're just dropping that left hip forward slightly as you lift up through the chest, and then arms reach up, palms forwards. This time right hand catches left forearm or wrist. Inhale as you reach up. Exhale, let's take that nice side stretch to the right this time. So again, we're not compromising the inside of the body at the expense of the outside. So again, a little lift up and out of that right hip. Lovely, take one more inhale. And as you exhale, let's come all the way down, framing the front foot with the hands. Option to lift the back knee, strike out through the heel as we take the right arm up. So make sure you're not bumping the hips out to the right. Draw the hips in and back, open up through the chest. Lovely, take an inhale. And as you exhale, bring the hands down. Push off that back foot. And as you inhale, step the feet together, top of the mat. Exhale as you fold. Deep knee bend. Let's rise all the way up to stand. Inhale. Exhaling, bringing the hands down to the heart. Lovely. Let's take a round of breath there. You can maybe close the eyes, find a moment of stillness in between the movement, remembering those M's, making the movement mindful. Lovely. So let's think about opening up through the front seam of the body now. So we'll arrow the arms up on an inhale. And as you exhale, bring the hands all the way back behind you, interlacing them. You might just want to keep your thumbs resting against your low back there as you open the shoulders and lift up through the chest. Some of you might straighten the arms, take the knuckles down towards the floor. And some of you might even be able to take the arms away from the low back a little ways. So some of you might feel comfortable lifting your chin, getting that nice stretch up through the front seam of the bottom of the body. A little squeeze at the bottom, a little press of the hips forwards. Lovely. So we're not going to come into a forward fold this time. We're just going to lift up nice and tall. Lovely. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, release the hands. Separate the arms. Inhale, reaching up nice and tall. Here we go. Exhale as you fold all the way down. Inhale as you lift up halfway. And this time as you exhale, we're going to step back into that downward dog again. Lovely. So hips nice and high. Brilliant. So this time on an inhale, we're going to take the right leg all the way up. And as you exhale, step that right leg forwards between your hands. Beautiful. So we're going to hop that left foot out to the left so the feet are on a diagonal. And then again, walking the hands up that front thigh. That's lifting up through the chest, making sure your head, your heart, and your hips are aligned. So we'll drop our centers. And you might keep the back knee bent. You might be able to straighten that back leg whilst keeping the body nice and upright. Lovely. Inhale as you reach the arms all the way up. And as you exhale, we're going to twist to the right. So you're going to take the left arm forwards and the right arm back. So you're turning towards that right leg. Lovely. So draw palms down, draw the little fingers back, open up through the chest. Can you keep again the eyes, the nose and the mouth over the center of your chest there? Lovely. When you're ready, on an inhale, sweep both arms up. And as you exhale, I'm going to drop that left heel in, turning the toes to the long edge of the mat, opening the arms out. So we're in a lovely warrior two, right foot pointing forwards, left heel pressing into the outside of the mat there. Lovely. Reaching the arms out nice and wide. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, can you sink a little deeper? Body stays upright so we're not leaning forwards into the future. Beautiful. Turning that front palm up. Inhale as you reach that right arm all the way up and back into a lovely reverse warrior. Now as you exhale, forearm tick-tocking down to thigh, top arm up or up and over, tucking the chin in towards your armpit. Lovely. One more. Inhale. So nice and strong through the lower body, a little bit of movement and lightness through the upper body. Exhale, forearm to thigh. Beautiful. This time as you inhale, we're going to come back into our warrior two. And as you exhale, cartwheeling the hands all the way down, pivoting on that back foot, back into that twist, right arm peeling up as you inhale. And as you exhale, look down as you bring both hands down. Okay, so you can come back into downward dog, or if you're with me, on an inhale, take that right leg all the way up and back into a three-legged dog. And as you exhale, lower the foot to the floor. So we'll all meet in downward dog. Option to have a rest if that's what the body needs, or a little bit of movement still. Inhale, rolling forwards to plank. Exhale, as you lower down, knees might kiss the earth just as we did before, elbows hugged in, little grasshopper legs. Flatten the feet, lift the chest on an inhale. Lovely and soft through the shoulders. Exhale as you lower down. Using the hands, push up to all fours as you inhale. And as you exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. I'm just going to turn around on my mat so I'm mirroring you. So from that downward dog, again, little bend in the knees, that little pressing of the heels heavily down towards the earth. Let's try that little flow on the other side. So left leg leading this time. Take an inhale, keep the weight even across the hands, lift the leg. Exhale as you step or help it forwards. Now option to lower that back knee if it was a little bit too much. Or legs on the diagonal, all 10 toes point forwards. And walking up that front thigh. So we've got our left foot forwards this time. So just make sure the body isn't leaning forward. So you might need to drop that back knee in order to stack the head, the heart and the hips. And then if you can, you might straighten the back leg, keeping the body nice and upright, or keep a bend in the knee. Beautiful. So let's reach the arms up, inhale. This time as you exhale, we're going to take the right arm forwards, left arm back. So you're turning towards the front knee there. Little fingers draw back, open up through the chest. Eyes, nose and mouth stay above the center of your chest. Lovely. So feeling that nice squeeze between the shoulder blades. Beautiful. Inhale as you reach the arms up. This time as you exhale, right heel drops in. So you might need to adjust that front foot as we come into our warrior two. So again, palms down, little fingers draw back, open up through the chest, beautiful. And then turning that left palm up, inhale. And as you exhale, let's reach all the way up and back, beautiful. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, forearm to thigh, top arm up or up and over. Let's sink in with our breath now. So inhale as you reach that left arm up and back, keeping the front knee bent. Exhale, forearm to thigh, top arm up or up and over. Ready for our warrior two as you inhale. And as you exhale, I'm going to pivot on the back foot, cartwheel the hands down carefully. Option to drop the back knee, or on an inhale, we'll take the left arm up. Back knee lifted, striking out through the heel. Exhale as you lower down. Lovely. Let's step back either to downward dog or taking the left leg all the way up and back into a three-legged dog. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, lower the foot to the floor. Option to have a little rest or a little vinyasa. Inhale, roll the body forwards to plank. Exhale, elbows tucked in. Remember, your knees might come down first to help you keep that nice length through the body. Inhale into that little cobra. Exhale as you lower down. Beautiful. Inhale to all fours. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward dog. Lovely. Looking forwards between your hands. Take an inhale as you bend the knees. And as you exhale, step or walk your feet forwards to that forward fold top of the mat. Inhale as you lift up halfway. Exhale, allow the body to fold forwards. That might mean generously bending the knees. Let's rise up to stand, pressing the floor away. Rise up, arms out and up. Hands to heart. Exhale. If you're comfortable, close the eyes. If not, just soften the gaze. Find, again, that moment of stillness now. Just bring your awareness to your breath. It might be a little bit elevated after that little flow. So see if you can begin to steady the breath, bringing it back into that lovely conscious control as we just prepare for a little balance. So beginning something a little bit more meditative now, something that requires a little bit of connection with our mind as well as our bodies. Beautiful. So you keep the hands to the heart as you blink the eyes open, or you can bring your hands to your hips, whatever feels the most comfortable now. So we're going to shift the weight into your left foot. And as you inhale, let's see if we can just lift that right knee, just up level with the hip, like a little puppet being pulled up on a string. And as you exhale, just bring the foot down to the floor. Lovely. Let's do that twice more. So just notice if you're really shifting the weight over to the left. Notice if you maybe need a little bit of support today. Moving to a wall. This time we'll bring that right knee up and then turning the knee out, we'll make our way into tree pose, one of my favorite balances. So if you want to bring your foot above your knee, just bring the sole of the foot just into your inner thigh. You might bring the foot lower down or even rest your big toe on the floor. So when you settle that right leg, think about lifting up as you bring your hands back to your heart if they're not there already. When you feel yourself start to wibble wobble, see if you can lift up a little bit more. Can you press into all four edges of that supporting foot? We tend to roll to the outside or the inside, so press into all four corners. Beautiful. Whoa, but the wibbles. If you wish, you can join me taking the arms all the way up into a lovely open V shape. So you might even think about tilting your little fingers up towards the ceiling, lifting up through the chest. And if you're feeling super confident today, I'm not because I'm wobbling, you can even lift your chin and take your gaze up towards the ceiling. I'm going to keep my gaze forwards today. Focus on the breath, lifting up a little taller. Lovely. Take one more inhale if you've got the arms lifted. And as you exhale, let's slowly, slowly bring the hands back to the heart and then bring the foot to the floor. I fell out of my tree there. In my defense, I'm on a wibbly floorboard. That's my excuse. So find your center. It's a lesson in humility, isn't it? Balances. No matter what we did yesterday, they're always different every time we hit the mat. So hands to the heart or hands to the hips, whichever feels more natural. Let's think about lifting that left knee now. So on an inhale, Just lift the knee, and again, there's going to be a little bit of shifting of weight into that right foot, but we don't want to knock ourselves completely off balance. Exhale as you lower. If you feel wibbly wobbly, just bring your right hand to rest against a wall. But again, it's a lesson in learning to be humble when we balance. This time we'll lift the knee and finding our way into tree pose with that left foot nestled in above the knee or below the knee. And if you're very open in the hips, just make sure that in your effort to open your hip, as you pull that left knee back, you're not twisting the body to the left. So sometimes less is more. Think about your hip bones. These little bony protrusions on the front of the pelvis there are both still pointing forwards like headlights. You might even want to bring your hands there to check. Option to keep the hands to the heart, lifting up a little taller when you feel wibbly wobbly, or even reaching the arms up. So again, little fingers leading the way, so you get a lovely openness through the chest. Pressing into all four edges of that supporting foot. You can take the gaze up. If you're feeling super confident, you can even close your eyes. Woo-hoo. Lovely. And then slowly, slowly, with as much control coming out as you went in, hands to heart, foot to floor. Beautiful. Lovely. So just letting the weight settle back evenly into both feet now. Spreading the toes. Beautiful. Inhale as you sweep the arms up, coming down to the floor now. Exhale, slowing it down now as you come into a lovely swooping forward fold all the way down. Inhale as you lift up halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step back into downward facing dog, or take a child pose if you've had enough. Lovely. Now from that downward dog, you're going to walk your hands back towards your feet, bending your knees and dropping your hips to your heels, so we end up in a little crouch position. So heels lifted. You can tuck your chin in towards your chest. And this is a great one here, just to stretch out through the fascia of the feet. And also, if you just allow your heels to sink, not forcing, you get a nice stretch into the Achilles and into the bottom of that calf muscle. Lovely. And then from there, pad the hands forwards, just so you can drop down onto your knees, flatten your feet, and then sitting back on your heels, coming into hero pose. Now, if hero pose doesn't work for you today for whatever reason, come to a comfortable cross-leg position or just stretch the legs out in front of you. So wherever you are, again, feel that lift up through the spine, nice and tall. Beautiful. Inhale as you reach the arms up. And as you exhale, bring the hands all the way down to the heart, keeping breastbone lifted to thumbs. Lovely. Inhale, reach the arms up. And this time as you exhale, I'm going to twist it to the right. So we bring the left arm forwards and right arm back. And this time, if you wish, you can take your gaze over that back arm. Lovely. Shoulders should be nice and warm now. Inhale through center. So you can do this just from a comfortable seated position. Exhale, bringing the hands all the way down to the heart. Lovely. Let's try that little twist opposite way. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, this time right arm forwards, left arm back. So palms are down. So again, if you're comfortable, you maybe take the gaze over that back arm now. Inhale through center. Exhale, hands to heart. Lovely. Let's do that just once more each way. So if, like me, you're in that hero pose, as you reach that left arm forwards, reach right arm back, are you keeping the weight even on your heels? If you're sitting on the floor, are your sit bones pressing evenly down into the mat? Inhale through center. Hands to hearts, breastbone to thumbs. Lovely. Once more, twisting to the left. So right arm forwards, left arm back. So again, we're moving the upper body, hips stay pointing forwards. Inhale through center. Exhaling, hands all the way down to the heart, and then release the hands down. So you just shift your hips over to one side or the other. It really doesn't matter. Give the legs a good old stretch, especially if you're in your hero pose. Give them a little bit of a bounce. Let me just drop the camera down so you can see me there. Beautiful. Come and face you. And we're going to bring our right heel in towards your groin, and then allow the knee to open out to the side there. Now, if your knee is hovering uncomfortably in space, you can always pop a little cushion underneath it, or just take the foot a little bit lower down the leg. The left leg, we're going to take out on a diagonal, toes point up towards the ceiling. Then fingertips just come down on either side of that left thigh. So you can turn the body, you might need to lift your hips up a little bit. So your body is more or less now facing that extended left leg. Lovely. Let's take a nice breath in. And as you breathe out, let's allow the body to melt forward. So pad the hands forwards. So we're trying to come down straight over that left leg. If you feel yourself veering off to the right, maybe bring the right hand to the outside of your left foot, your shin or your thigh, and very gently guide yourself back. So your belly is just over that thigh. I had to pause there because my husband just gave a very explosive sneeze from downstairs. You might have heard that. We're both suffering from hay fever at the moment. Easing your way all the way down. Lovely. And then slowly, slowly, let's come all the way back up. Just shifting the weight into that right side. So you can tuck your left shin behind you. So you're sitting up on a zigzag. Don't worry if you can't sit down onto that left bottom there. Right hand to the floor, looking down towards your right hand, reach that left arm up and over. An option to push the hips forwards and up, coming into a little hip opener. If you want a little back bend, you can start to turn your chest up towards the ceiling and let that left arm drop back a little way. So you're just coming into a gentle back bend. If that's not for you, you keep the left arm over on the diagonal and the gaze down towards your right hand there. So wherever you are, we'll take one more breath. And then as you exhale, slowly lower the hips and sweep that left arm all the way down in front of the face and let that carry you into a little twist to the left. So again, if you can, we're trying to press into that left sit bone, but it's hard to keep the weight even from that position there. Lovely. Slowly come back to center. Bring the hands just behind you so you can carefully give the legs a little shake in front of you. And then we'll try that on the opposite leg. So left heel coming in. So again, as you allow that left knee to drop out, you can pop your cushions like a little door jamb underneath your knee or your thigh. And then we'll take the right leg out on the diagonal. So fingertips frame that right thigh. So you can just lift yourself up. So I kind of lift my bottom and I turn myself so I'm more or less facing that right leg. Inhale as you feel a nice lift up through the chest. And as you exhale, take that little forward fold there. So again, the idea is that we're trying to keep the body more or less square over that extended leg. And so if you do feel yourself veering off, you can bring your left hand to the outside of that right foot, shin or thigh, and very gently guide yourself back on track there. Easy with the breath. And slowly, slowly, let's roll ourselves back up. So we'll just lean into that left side so you can bring your right knee and tuck your shin in behind you. If that doesn't work for you, you can keep the leg out stretched. So left hand on the floor, just by your hip, taking the gaze down as you reach the right arm up on the diagonal. You can stay there or you can begin to lift the hips. So keeping the gaze back towards that left hand. So you can stay there, or if you want more of a back bend, you start to take the gaze up towards the ceiling and you allow that right arm to drop back behind you. So it's quite strong. So if that isn't for you, keep the arm up on the diagonal and the gaze down towards the hand. Let's take one more inhale. And as you exhale, slowly, slowly, that right hand, right arm sweeps in front of the face as the hips lower, and we take a little twist to the right. So we bring the left hand just across. Lovely. And then slowly back to center. Bring the hands behind you so you can lean into your hands. Give your legs a little bit of a shake there. And then bringing your feet down to the floor, hands come behind you. Ease your way down onto your back. And then bring your knees in towards your chest. Give them a little squeeze. And just gently have a massage there. Just find that spot in your back or your hip and have a little circle of your knees or a simple rock from side to side, just kind of soothing out any tension in your lower back or around your hips there. Lovely. And then taking the feet back down to the floor, this time taking them to the outside edges of your mat, so nice and wide. Arms might be out level with the shoulders, or if likely your shoulders feel quite open and spacious today, you can even bring your hands above your head, just resting one hand on top of the other there. I really like that variation, but that's not for everybody's shoulders, so you can always take your arms lower. Let's come into a little side twist now, so nice and wide with the legs. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, let's drop both knees over to the right, maybe chin dropping down to left shoulder and pause. So if your knees feel uncomfortable, you can always bring your feet a little closer together or try flexing your feet. And that sometimes helps keeping the knees in alignment. Inhale, bring the legs back up to center. And as you exhale, just roll across the back of your heels as you drop your knees down to the left, maybe flexing the feet, maybe taking the chin down to right armpit. Lovely. Relaxing the buttocks. Let's roll with the breath. Really gentle movement now. Inhale to center. Exhale, knees drop to right. Chin down to left shoulder. Inhale through center. Exhaling. So I always kind of like lifting my my feet here. So I'm just balanced on the backs of the heels there, and I'm just having a little roll across, and that kind of works for me. You will start to push your hips gently in the same direction of your knees. You're getting a little bit of extra twist there if that feels nice for you today. Let's do one more over to the right side. And one more over to the left side. And then we'll come all the way back through center. Walk your feet in now so they're hip width apart. Your feet are underneath your knees. Bring the arms down alongside you, spreading the fingers nice and wide. Lovely. Tuck the chin in towards the chest. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, slowly begin to push the hips up towards the ceiling, coming into a low and gentle shoulder bridge, or pushing up a little higher if that feels more comfortable. Lovely. Take an inhale at the top. And as you exhale, let's slowly roll the spine down. So we're going to do that twice more. Inhaling, hips on the floor. Exhale as you push the hips up. And see every time if you can get the sense of space through the front of the body as you inhale with the hips up. And as you exhale and release, can you think about lengthening through the back body? So extending your tailbone down towards your heels. Take one more inhale, hips on the floor. And one final exhale, pushing the hips up towards the ceiling, stretching the knees away from your lovely openness through the front of the body. Take one more inhale, hips nice and high. And as you exhale with control, imagine all of that beautiful space you're creating through the back of the body as you ripple the spine down. Wheeling it down vertebrae by vertebrae. And when the back of the hips, back of the pelvis touches the floor, pause. You've got the option simply now to toe heel your feet a little wider apart so your inner knees can rest against each other, turning the palms up towards the ceiling and maybe just taking the arms a little bit way away from the body, or extending one leg and then the other. The feet hip width apart, the toes gently relaxed out to the sides. There's a sense of space and ease across the hips. If you need to whiz off, thank you so much for coming. I'm here on Friday at 9:30, sorry. And then from next week, this class is going to be at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock from next week onwards. So if you're just closing the class with me, we allow the body to settle into a nice, comfortable position, reminding ourselves that the body benefits from movement and the mind benefits from stillness. So when we do our yoga practice, we integrate all of those beautiful 3 M's that Dr. Chatterjee reminds us are fundamental to our well-being: the mindfulness, the movement, and the meditation. So mindfulness, we weave throughout our movement practice, syncing in our breath with our movement. And our meditation now is simply an awareness focus on our breath. So if you can, and it felt easy and comfortable at the beginning, let's see if we can close our practice this morning just as we began with pranayama, a very traditional way of beginning and finishing a yoga class, because let's not forget that breath is the fundamentals of our practice. The movement is an add-on. So coming back to that 3, 4, 5 sequence, breathing in for 3, holding for 4, and slowing the exhale for your count of 5. If that's not for you, then again, bring your awareness simply to each inhale and each exhale. But if you're with me, let's take a nice deep breath in together. And then breathing out as you empty the lungs and settle the body into the floor. And then starting with that inhaling for 3, your count. Pausing at the top for your count of 4 without that inducing any feeling of tension. And then breathing the breath out really steadily in that stream for 5, your count. And then we repeat, breathing in for your count of 3. Just holding, feeling that lovely sense of fullness at the top for your count of 4. And as the body exhales for your count of 5, really letting go into the floor, relaxing and releasing. So just continuing now, just a few more rounds. Knowing that you don't have to be in a darkened room and sit cross-legged for hours and hours to find that sense of calm that meditation can hopefully bring about. We might do it when we're feeling agitated, waiting in a line, stuck in traffic, just feeling a little bit discombobulated, just pausing in what we're doing. Just doing a few rounds of this, just recollecting the very essence of us, our breath. So if you're still doing that 3, 4, 5 breath, just do one more complete round. Breathing in for your count of 3. Holding for 4. And then when you take that last exhale for the count of 5, after that, just allow the breath to return to a very steady and natural flow, no sense of counting or interference. But just notice, maybe each inhale and exhale is a little deeper, maybe a little slower, maybe you just feel a little bit more connected to yourself. So knowing that we well and truly begun our day with our 3 M's, setting ourselves up for greatness, of course. So when you're ready, very gently just begin to wiggle your fingers, maybe a little waggle of your toes if your legs are outstretched, maybe just a gentle roll across the back of your head. Of course, we've set ourselves up to have a wonderful day, haven't we now? Having started with yoga, how could we not? And if your legs are bent, feel free to just have a lovely stretch, maybe straightening the legs, taking the arms back, spreading the fingers nice and wide, might even have a great big yawn. A little bit of face yoga. And then we'll all meet just in our own time, bringing your knees in towards your chest. And sometimes that stillness is what you want to settle into. Sometimes, again, the body might benefit from a little bit of movement. Rock or circle. And then bringing your feet down to the floor, just carefully roll onto one side, right side or left side. And then find your way to a comfortable seated position, which again never has to be cross-legged. We've all got this idea that we've got to be able to sit cross-legged to do yoga, which is not true at all. So whatever works for you. Lovely. Somewhere where you can feel a nice sense of grounding through your sit bones, but a lovely ability to lift out of your hips. So a nice lightness through the upper body and a sense of grounding through the lower body. Beautiful. So let's bring the hands just together in Anjali Mudra. So palms together, thumbs to breastbone, lifting breastbone to meet thumbs as you allow your chin to drop down towards your fingertips there. Soften the shoulders. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, gently bowing forwards, just honouring yourself for having given up some time this morning to meditate, move and find some mindfulness, and thanking each other for sharing your practice. And namaste. Have a lovely day. You've set yourself up for greatness. Of course. Thank you, thank you. So if you do want to listen to that podcast where he was talking, it's on this week's Happy Place with Fern Cotton. It's very, very good. Dr. Chatterjee.